Good evening, my friends. Tonight, I'd like to share something special with you. It's about a little boy who dreamed of becoming a knight. So, get comfortable and let's begin.
Story 1. The Sword. Ari desperately wanted to be strong, brave, courageous, just like his father. And Ari's father was the first knight of the entire kingdom. Ari wanted to become a knight more than anything else in the world. He was still much too small, and yet he was already old enough to begin his journey. That evening, the family had just finished dinner. The candles were burning low, the dishes clinked softly, and the day was fading away. Ari could contain himself no longer. "Dad, when will I finally get my own sword?" "A sword?" his father repeated, leaning back in his chair and casting a meaningful glance at his wife. "What do you need a weapon for, my son?" his father asked gently. "Well, obviously," Ari exclaimed, "to fight enemies, to stop bandits, to defeat dragons and all sorts of other wicked creatures. In short, to perform heroic deeds." He struck what he believed to be a very heroic pose. His face shone so brightly that the candles were no longer needed. "I see," his father said slowly. "Son, you are still too small to go chasing bandits or, heaven forbid, off to war. And as for heroic deeds, one does not always need a sword for those." Ari lowered his head. The light inside him began to dim. "Then how will I ever become a knight like you?" he asked quietly. "Without a sword?"
Ari's mother rose from the table and gathered the dishes. She raised an eyebrow and smiled softly. She understood perfectly. A very serious conversation was about to begin.
His mother looked at her husband. Everything was conveyed in that single glance. He understood. "Very well, son," the father said. "Go and bring me my sword." There was nothing in the world that captivated Ari more than that object, the sword of the first knight of the kingdom. Like a lightning bolt, he jumped up and ran. The sword stood majestically in the corner, resting beside the suit of armor. Ari grabbed it by the hilt and pulled it toward himself with all his might. Thud! The sword fell heavily onto the floor and lay still. Ari tried to lift it. Then he tried again. It was incredibly heavy. Mama and Papa smiled as they watched his determined efforts. "Has someone not been eating enough porridge?" Papa said, rising from the table and stepping closer. Seeing his father, Ari gathered every last ounce of strength one final time. He strained, he clenched his teeth, and suddenly, poot-poot. His father dropped to one knee, took hold of the scabbard, and lifted the sword. Ari was still clinging to the hilt. "It is not a matter of how strong you are," Papa began, "nor is it about what kind of sword you carry. A knight is defined by his actions, and I believe, my son, that a great power lives deep inside you." At that very moment, the toot decided to remind them of its existence once more. It slowly leaked out and filled the room. "Good heavens, Ari!" his father cried, standing up abruptly and wrinkling his nose.
Mama came over, ruffled Ari's hair, and said through her laughter, "The farting knight!"
And they all burst into laughter together.
That was a wonderful story. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Stories like this stay with us forever. Sleep well, dream big, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Good night, my friends.